And we're hot. We're here with my friend Suzy, who I met about 2 years ago, I want to say, when I got super into Insanity Max 30. And I started posting my daily things on Instagram, my daily pictures and progress things. And I started hashtagging like Sean T, hashtag Insanity, all that fun stuff. And she was one of the first people that started following me, started liking my photos, and started commenting on them, which at first was really unnerving because I lived in my bubble of my friends. And all of a sudden, there's this stranger who lives far away from me, and they're also doing the same thing I was. But we actually formed a bit of a kindred bond over suffering through insanity. Um, and I went through the backstory of her photos, and she started posting progress photos. And I was very inspired by her story, very inspired by the amazing change that I was seeing from her, and also the fact that she was a lot more dedicated to the workout programs than I was. So, without further ado, there's Suzy. You
Hi.
can say something. There you go.
Hello.
So, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank
Good.
you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Like I said before, we kind of chit chatted, but I'm having coffee for the first time in like almost a week. So it's like a fresh buzz. It's like if you don't have coffee for a long time and then you have it for a while. Um, well, I guess a week is a while, but yeah. Then all of a sudden you get this it's almost like the first time you have coffee. It's like, oh, like I'm not like buzzed out of my mind, but I'm feeling like this energy that I haven't had for 6 days just all of a sudden hit me.
We're gonna be talking or start doing jumping jacks while we're like,
I'm today is a total opposite. Usually I wake up, I work out, I shower, I have breakfast. If I'm having coffee, I'll have coffee with my breakfast. Today I woke up, showered, got dressed, and then once we're done here, I'm gonna work out. So yeah, it's a little bit of a change for me. Uh, so enough about me. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your transformation. Who was Suzy before you started working out?
okay, so it's kind of a dramatic story, but it's very important on how I came about how I am today. So it all started with like I was 230 pounds. I smoked a pack a day. I drank a lot and just didn't care what I ate. But then something very tragic happened in my life. I was on painkillers. I had my teeth ripped out. So I started taking painkillers because it was just so like it hurt. And I took that for about a month and then I stopped taking them and I had like really bad withdrawal symptoms. I had like 20 panic attacks a day. It ended up like I had to go through a withdrawal program, which didn't help. The panic attacks were like constant. Like I would have one and I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I'd have another one and then another one. And then became like a fear of having the panic attacks. You know what I mean? So my world became very small. It started like I couldn't go on highways or I couldn't go to like the mall. And then it was like I couldn't go to grocery stores or even major roads or anything like that. And then it got to the point where I couldn't even go out my front door. And because I was just so afraid of having panic attacks. I was living by myself in my hometown, and I made the big choice of moving here to Toronto with my mom because I couldn't even leave my apartment, right? So I just really needed help at that point. So what started with like eating healthier was I ended up losing my ability to eat for about 2 months. I every time I would eat anything, I would have like really, really bad panic attacks. So I got scared to eat at that point, and I could only eat soup when I absolutely desperately needed something. Like if I felt like I was gonna pass out, I would just have soup. And I lost about 15 pounds in a month and a half. And it was getting really like scary at that point. So when I moved here, um, I had to like slowly start introducing food back because I was so scared to eat about, panicking. So when I introduced food back into my life, I made sure that it was all healthy. Like I made a declaration that like I want to get healthy. I kept having that in my mind. So I started with like bananas and, really healthy food like that. Um, while I was here again, it started getting a little better the more I ate healthy, but then I realized that the cigarettes were really triggering it as well. So I read a book called um, Stop Smoking by Alan Carr.
Hmm.
And then the next day, like I just put the cigarette down. Next day, I started jogging. That's what started my fitness. I put the cigarette down, and then next morning I just started jogging with the Couch to 5K app. And from there, that's where my fitness journey just ended up skyrocketing. So it's kind of like I didn't really, I guess I made a decision, but at the same time, it was like I need to save my life here. So it was like I had no choice, but I did. I don't know how to really explain it.
You realized it was life or death, essentially, like put the cigarette down or keep smoking and die kind of thing.
Basically, like, um, they were really triggering the panic attacks as well. I still had some after, but it was at the point where it's like, I don't even know how to say it. It was like do or die. It was, I have no choice. Like, this needs to be done if I ever really want a life again,
Hmm.
if it makes sense.
That's and you were able to go cold turkey, just absolutely stop smoking, or was it like you limited your smoking to like one or two as you were starting to jog?
It was absolutely cold turkey. I've tried quitting 100 times in my life. I tried the patches, I tried cutting down everything. But at this point in my life, it was literally, I made that choice that at this moment, like, that's it. I am changing my life from this day on. And I put it down, and it was hard for the first week, but it was easy because I knew I wanted it more than anything,
Hmm.
basically.
Yeah, I've heard that said before. Like, I know a lot of people who smoke or stop smoking, and they tried like the patches, they tried like the e-cigarettes, and the most successful stories are always like, I just went cold turkey and it sucked, but it was like, it has the most success rate, it sounds like.
It's honestly, it's so true. I think that literally goes with anything in life. If you want to get fit, like there's not these little techniques. Like you just have to want it bad enough. If you want to, I've quit drugs, I've quit alcohol, I've quit cigarettes, I've quit everything. Like you just have to want it. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They want to hear, give me the step by step, and it's like, no, you just have to want it more than anything. And I think that literally goes with anything that you want in life.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because like I was just having a conversation with a friend about fitness, and like everybody, and this is gonna sound bad, everybody wants that late night infomercial, like magic pill, like, oh, the green coffee, like, oh yeah, you take the green coffee and it just melts the fat away. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, maybe it helps with your metabolism as a supplement, but like nothing is just going to suck away the fat except for like liposuction, which still isn't healthy. But yeah, everybody wants that pill that you take that stops smoking, gets you clean off of drugs, makes you like fit and bronze and everything like that.
I think the funny part about that too is if you read these like pills and drinks, it always says like you have to accompany it with eating healthier and adding some exercise into it. So people try to ignore that as well. But a big thing is what people don't understand is even if I could go back and someone could give me a pill that just made me look the way I do right now, I wouldn't take it because all of the lessons I've learned along the way are worth the hardship to get here.
Mm. Well, that's a good segue into like jumping into one of the questions I had for you, which is what has fitness taught you, like self discipline helped you with in other aspects of your life?
Um, well, especially with I do exposure therapy for my agoraphobia, so that means facing my fears and going out of my house. Um, with working out, especially with Sean T, like when you're doing insanity, you just you want to quit so bad, but there's something in you that just keeps pushing for. You're doing these push-ups, you're like, I don't know how I'm doing this. I'm not even here anymore. I'm just doing it. I don't know how. And then when I go out on my exposure therapies, like I feel like I just can't go one step further. And I think like you just did like 500 push-ups the other day. Okay, I think you can take one or two more. Like, so it really helps with believing that you can do anything, literally anything. And I know they're just workouts and stuff, but when you couldn't do one push-up and all of a sudden you're doing 20, like that is the most freeing thing ever. It's like the biggest confidence booster. You can do anything, literally.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's you do, especially doing insanity. Like after I do insanity, well, actually, right after I do insanity, the voice in my head just says, "Don't do anything." For like, I'll lay there for like 5 minutes and just contemplate my life and all the decisions that brought me there. But yeah, you do have that kind of confidence in fitness of like, oh, now I'm unstoppable almost, or like I can accomplish anything if I set my mind to it.
So exactly, that's exactly it. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Um, I guess that leads me to what challenges have you faced along the way? I mean, obviously, you didn't go from, like you said, couch potato to like running a 5K overnight. Like, what challenges have come up for you personally and physically?
At first the challenges were obviously with quitting smoking and jogging, like it's a little discouraging because you go like 20 seconds and you're dying. And you just you don't know if you're gonna make it. You don't know if it's possible for you. So you have a lot of self-doubt in that area. I've had a lot of challenges on the way. My family is kind of like big junk foodies, so they're eating out like almost every other night. That was really hard to say no to. Another thing was I've had vertigo for a year. So I've had to push through all of my workouts while feeling like I'm on a boat. you know? So
Okay.
that's another big challenge as well. When that hit, I didn't know if I should just give up. Um, in my life, I feel like a lot of things were against me, but no matter what, I've always pushed through, like always. Again, I don't make excuses. No matter what challenges come up in my life, I think with the anxiety and vertigo and family matters, like no matter what, I've just proven to myself over and over again, and that's why I love fitness, is no matter what is thrown at you, like I can handle it. I'm strong inside and out, if that makes sense.
hmm it's, I mean, we've both done Insanity Max 30, so I'm wondering if it's something like, in Insanity Max 30, you max out. So each day you're trying to go a little bit longer. Each time you do that workout, you're trying to do a little bit more. And I'm wondering if, like, mentally, it's also like, today I'm going to do a little bit more than I did yesterday.
At the beginning, when I was working out, I had a lot of mental battles in the sense that I would get angry at myself. So I would just be starting out and I would max out on a good number, but then I'd be like, it's not good enough. It's not good. It's not good.
Hmm.
And so I think that was a huge challenge that I had to not compare myself to other people and just be like, you did go 2 seconds longer, and that does matter. That is a good thing. You're progressing. But at the beginning in your mind, you're like, I have to be the best. I have to do better, do better, do better. But so that was like a big challenge for me, is to celebrate the little challenges that I would get over. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. Like, um, I'm a big fan of. I saw this poster once. Poster. I'm a millennial, so I say poster, but it's probably just a Pinterest. That said, like, you don't have to be better than the other guy. You just have to be better than yourself yesterday. And I really appreciate that because, like, when I had a big monumental shift when I was doing Insanity Max 30, but it's been able to help me through a lot of life's recent stresses of like I would be doing Insanity And I'd be like, "What? You're gonna max out at 10 minutes? Like, how dare you max out at 10 minutes? Yesterday you could go 11 minutes. I know it was a different workout, but come on, you could do it." And then I had the like realization that whenever I'm working out with somebody else, I'm giving them constant encouragement, and I'm like, "Come on, I know you can do it." And so I started talking to myself like I would if I was working out with myself, like if I was another person. And from that moment on, I was able to like go a lot further. Instead of being hard on myself, being encouraging of myself more than I like how I would normally treat somebody. And like I hit the gym now and I'm like, 25s, I can't do 25s. I'm like, yes, you can. You could do 25s. Do 30s. Do 30s. And if you fail with the 30s, then you can fall back to the 25s. And I'm like, oh. And like I've seen a lot of growth personally in myself, like, I can't take that job, like there's no way I could do that job. And I'm like, give it a shot, come on, see what you can do.
That's so awesome. That kind of I don't think it's too off topic, but that reminds me of they did this study with plants, and they literally just talked to it and encouraged it, and it grew amazing. And then when they sat there and called it an idiot and all this stuff and just really negative stuff, it didn't grow as good. And I think
Mm,
us humans are exactly the same like that. And the more we do talk to ourselves positively, like it doesn't make sense that we would encourage our friends and be like, you can do anything. And then in our minds, we're just like, you can't do that. You suck. You can do more. Like it does. It's so weird. So yeah, I love that you have made that mental shift too. That's amazing.
yeah, there's a comedian, he's not even big in the States. I like him, but it's called Christopher Titus. And he has this character that he does on stage, which might be offensive to some. I encourage you to go look him up on YouTube. He explains it, but he calls it his inner retard. And it's always making fun of him and saying like, it's that voice that we all have of like, you're not good enough, like come on, you can do better, like you can't do that, she's too good for you, and stuff like that. um and I think everybody has that, but it's for me now I have another voice that's like louder than that one, and yeah, encourages me a lot further. And it's my own like in like when you're thinking, like when you're doing math and you're like 2 plus 2 is 4, it's that voice. It's like, come on, you can do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's and it's interesting you bring up the plant study, because somebody was talking to me about pets, and it's the same thing with them. Like dogs don't understand English. Like they have dogs in Japan and they speak the command and it knows just because it's heard it enough. Like this tone and this sound means this thing. And it's the same thing. Like you can yell encouraging things to a dog in a negative voice and it thinks it's getting yelled at. So it's all about the tone and how you're approaching it that really changes the outcome of everything.
It's so interesting,
Yeah.
honestly.
So you talked about that challenge. I'm interested. So I see your progress pics on Instagram. Like, how does that make you feel when you look at those progress pictures of your before and your, I don't want to say after, because you're really good about continuing your workouts. I'm really bad as like, as soon as I finish a program, I go and get like an ice cream sandwich at this place we have in town. And then it's like 3 weeks later that I look at my gut and I'm like, yeah, I should probably get back onto a program. But you're consistently going from program to program. Your workouts are very consistent. So I'm wondering, like, when you see your before and your updated who you are now, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, when I look at my before, I'm still a little in denial that that was me. Like, I mean, I even had bleach blonde hair, so I've grown out my hair completely as well, and just I don't know. I'm still in denial that that was me. I don't know. It's so weird. Um, if I didn't have the tattoos, a lot of people said they wouldn't believe it was me as well. So
I'm not gonna lie, the first time I saw one of your befores, I was like, that's not you. That's got to be a friend or somebody you know. But then I saw the piercings and the tattoos, and I was like, that's highly unlikely.
you know what else I see too? Which I think it ties into your one question. what are the challenges I still face?
Hmm.
So it ties into that. When I look at my old photos, I actually get fear. um, I don't want to go back to that ever. you know, not even just because the way I looked. I just remember how I felt during those times and the struggles. So the challenges I have to this day, if you would have asked me last week what my challenges were, I would have been like, I have 5 more pounds to lose and it sucks. It's so hard. But I've made this huge shift in just this last week where my biggest challenge is, again, with the not being good enough and obsession with calorie counting and just being like having this certain body I see in my head and feeling like I can't be happy unless I've achieved that. So in this last week, I've made this huge shift where I'm really chasing just pure happiness and trying to be comfortable in my own skin, because even when you lose all the weight, I've lost like 110 pounds now, you don't just automatically get happy. A lot of people
It's
think
true.
you do, but that's not how it works. So I'm making this huge mental shift where, because you can get caught up in that with fitness, with the macros, with the calories, with I have to walk this certain amount every day and do this to keep the body I have. But I feel like just because you're physically healthy, it doesn't mean you're mentally healthy. So that's what I'm working on right now, is mental happiness and healthiness. And I know I'm getting a little bit off topic, but like that would be my huge advice to people is don't trade one obsession for another. So, or one unhappy, oh my God, sorry, one unhealthy habit for another. So if you went from eating like junk food and not working out and just doing all these negative things with going full force into like obsessed with numbers, obsessed with being skinny and all this stuff, like you're really gonna hurt yourself. So you say that um, that my workouts haven't stopped and I'm constantly going, but at the same time it did develop into an unhealthy obsession, I would say. Mentally, I think it's cool to like work out every day, and I am keeping up with that, but I feel like you have to be in that right frame of mind where you're doing it for the right reasons. Does that make sense?
No, it totally does. Like, um,
I feel like I just rambled so bad there.
no, no, you touched on a lot of good bases because in my last podcast, I was talking to my friend he's not in a program. He's not working out. He doesn't do Beachbody. I recommend Beachbody. He like does cardio occasionally, but it's like walking on the treadmill, which is good because like start small, work your way up. Um, but we were talking about how you can be you can be obsessed, but also like you need to love who you are right now, and then say, okay, but I want to change for these healthy reasons. A lot of people get into fitness because they're like, I hate how I look. I want to look good naked, which is the number one start of like any workout for a lot of people is like, I just want to look good. But I'm in good shape right now. And I can stand in front of the mirror and immediately start picking apart like, you got love handles there, and like, this, that, and the other. This could be bigger. This could be smaller. I want bigger shoulders. All the things, but I challenge myself and everybody else. Like, find 10 things you like about yourself, and you'll realize it's so much harder than finding 10 things you don't like about yourself. Um, but yeah, I stand. I'm like, my shoulders are getting bigger because I'm working out, and like I'm really proud of myself for dedicating myself to working out even when like I don't want to, or I'm depressed, or I got a full schedule. Like, you'll find the more you build yourself up, the easier it's like a snowball effect, and you'll just like, oh, but this and that, and I'm really proud of myself. And like, you know what, my dedication to doing cardio when I didn't want to helped me to have that really hard conversation with somebody even though I didn't want to, and it turned out that it worked out really well because now me and this person are better friends.
That's so true. I feel like I'm trying to think of like I feel like when I do the workouts, um at first I feel like it was for all the wrong reasons. I know it's gonna sound cheesy, but when people are like, I work out to have more energy and
Hmm.
feel less depressed and all of this stuff. And I don't feel like that's cheesy anymore. I feel like it's so weird because, like I said, if you asked me last week, I'd be like, I just want a flat stomach. I just want some abs. I want this. But then now it's kind of different because now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what happens if you have a flat stomach? Then what? Then it's not going to be good enough. Then you're going to want the abs. Then you're going to want this. So you have to like, I'm trying to just love myself like where I am now, like you said, because a lot of people do think like once you get there, all of a sudden like if your life is going to be butterflies and rainbows, yeah, I'm going to wear a crop top, but I'm going to still be in the house, so it's like little things like that that people just don't understand. Like you have to love where you are right now, and it's so hard. Like again, it's cheesy. I could go to the mirror and pick apart myself as well, but I think the more, like you said, if the more you focus on the positives, the more it just boomerang effects. And
Hmm.
that's what I'm thinking just the past week.
Yeah. It's there was this show that I love watching. It's not on the air anymore, called Attack of the Show. It had Olivia Munn on it, who's now she's made a few movies. She was in Magic Mike, I guess, was like one of her bigger, more known roles. But on the show, she was answering viewer questions, and they were like, Olivia, you're so sexy, like you're amazing, like how do you keep in shape? And she's like, I loved it because she was incredibly real, and she's like, guys, I'm not in shape, like the camera shoots good angles. And she like had the camera guy pull back, and she's like, see these jeans, they're not jeans, they're jeggings. And she like snapped them, and she's like, I have an addiction to pie. I will eat an entire pie. I'm overweight in some like trains of thought. And she's like, but you still think I look good because I feel good. I'm happy with my body, and I love pie. I'm not going to give pie up. Like I've had to give up quite a few things. I sacrificed it at the altar of like, I still have it every once in a while, but like alcohol was the hard one. Like I haven't had a drink in, I want to say, a month and a half. And like, I'm still missing it. I'm not so much missing the alcohol, but I'm missing the like atmosphere of hanging out with my friends and having a drink and stuff like that. That's wrong. I did have a couple sips of tequila the other night just because I was like, I miss it. And out of all of them, tequila is not that bad. But like, yeah. Um, yeah, there's those things of like you just have to own who you are and be like, sexiness is not just like flat abs, because I know a lot of people that have abs that are not happy and they don't think they're sexy either. So yeah.
That's so true. I've had a couple friends back in the day too, like that were, I mean, 60 pounds overweight, but they were so confident and they loved themselves so damn much, and the way they just carry themselves, that made them sexy just in general.
Mm.
So it does, yeah, it doesn't always come down to a fit body. I'm not gonna lie though, like I mean, I love having a fit body, like at the end of the day, like um I can nitpick again, but then like you said, if I look back on how I used to look, like I'm good with what I have now. Thank you. Thank you. I would never want to go back.
I
Uh,
I find the qualities that I see when I see somebody fit to be sexier than their body. Like if I see somebody who takes care of themselves, I'm like, you're dedicated. You made it into the gym and you consistently worked out. And that to me is that's an attractive quality. And like, yes, you can find dedication in like other aspects of your life without it being fitness, but that's like the easy, I see it, and therefore I'm like, you're dedicated to your diet, you're dedicated to your workouts. Now it can go too far, like you were talking about, of like now you're too obsessed.
I think they say too that like taking care of yourself, like your physical and mental health is like one of the biggest forms of self-respect that you can have for yourself, and I think that is extremely attractive as well too.
And like to bring it back around to yourself, like you had that self-respect of like, I need to stop smoking, I need to eat better, I need to get off the sofa. And like, is there a moment, is there a catalyst, is there like one thing that happened that shifted your brain from like smoking and being on the sofa to like one event or one thought process that kind of, okay, now I'm gonna drastically change my life?
I was into fitness when I was 16. I I looked at a picture from New Year's when I was 16 and I was like, oh my God. So I ended up getting into fitness a little bit back then. I made a Tumblr and I learned about fitness and all that stuff. I was scrolling through every day. So when I got a taste of it when I was 16, I knew that no matter what, I was always destined for this. I know it sounds weird, but I felt like it was always my passion. Even when I fell off for, many years, um, I always every night I would just go to bed and be like, please, I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I know it's my passion, but how do I get to it? So I don't know. When my life completely fell apart, like I asked for 3 years, and the funny part is, I said I will do. Please, I will give anything to be fit again. Anything, please. And life was like, okay. It's like, careful what you wish for, but like I've just always wanted it after I got that little taste of it when I was 16. And I don't know, like, when you feel like it's just meant for you. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I
Um,
get that. Yeah.
Sorry, I
Uh,
feel like went off topic. Like, I didn't really have like this I woke up and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be into fitness. No, it was like I got that little taste of it, and it was like I've always been drawn back to it, like always. So if someone is really into music and they just constantly, play on their guitar and stuff, that was the same thing with working out. Like I was just destined for it. I don't know. Like
I
I'd
mean,
really love to do it as a career as well, like this isn't just like a hobby. It's my whole life.
that's good. And like, and so let's transition like the professional, because you do have a very inspiring story, and it keeps on going. Like you keep pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and you said you want to do it professionally. So what's your end goal? Like, do you want to be a personal trainer? Do you want to be a Shanti DVD beach body coach?
I have so many ideas. I'm someone in life that wants to do a lot of things. I would love to make a Shanti video. That'd be amazing. I feel like I would be just like him too. I would just be like over the top and like doing insane workouts. Um, I was even thinking, maybe even own a gym. I want to work for myself. Personal training, no, I don't think I could. I don't think I have the patience. If I know I've heard a lot of stories from my friends where it's like a lot of people cancel on you and stuff, and I feel like I would just be like, no, I want to get you to your goal. Let's do it. Um, or another thing, I'm really into nutrition, so I would like to come up with my own like be a nutritionist as well. That would be really awesome. As like I don't want to work for someone. See myself owning my own business and inspiring people the way I want to. I don't know.
No, I get that. So like, coming up with like meals and meal plans and like talking to people, that's where my fitness journey is leading me next. Is I feel like the workouts and stuff I've got pretty well handled. I always try to throw myself a curveball, but the nutrition, I constantly fall off. And mostly it comes down to the shopping, like just making sure that there's no unhealthy snacks in the house, because my willpower snaps like that if like, oh, brownies. Like my roommate, she's an amazing baker, and she like bakes brownies, cookies, she has candy and stuff. And only a handful of times have I walked in the kitchen and been like fresh baked brownies and have her be like, you want one? I'm like, no. And I have to literally turn around and walk out of the room, because I know in like 30 seconds I'll be like, yeah, and eat all of them. That's happened too many times actually. But yeah, the nutrition aspect of fitness is I feel like it's the one of the biggest pillars, but it's also the one that most people ignore.
No, exactly. I have the same way. Like, food is addicting. Like, it can definitely be addicting, right? My biggest thing, like you just said, brownies, and that makes you think of chocolate. And I haven't had chocolate in months because I feel like once I have it, it's just a domino effect. It's like I can't stop eating it. So I feel like the biggest thing for people if they have like a hard time with I'm not saying never have chocolate, but yeah, just if you know those foods trigger you, just stay far away from it. That's what I do, and it works. But
Yeah.
there's also like the best thing about nutrition is there's always a healthier way to make something, always. So like I love ice cream, and now I make banana and ice cream. So it's like made with bananas, and it's a way healthier alternative, and I can eat twice the amount for like the less amount of calories, and and it's way healthier for you. So those are like little tricks I do so I can still have my cravings, if you will.
Yeah, I those cravings are killer. I It's one of the things I love about, and this is not turning into a commercial for Shakeology, but one of the things I like about Shakeology is the chocolate. I get the chocolate vegan Shakeology, and I like got it, and I was like, I've had protein shakes before. Like some taste good, but usually the ones that taste good are the ones that are like super high in sugar and very low in protein, and like that's all it has in it is pure protein. And I got the Shakeology because I was like, yeah, everybody. There's always a commercial at the end of one of the DVD workouts, so sure I'll try it. And I like mixed up my first glass. I actually used a cocktail shaker because I didn't have one of the like fancy
So I
Shakeology
saw
quick.
that.
And I shook it up. I took a drink and I was like, oh, it tastes like Ovaltine. And I was like, I could do this. This is good for me. And it tastes good. Like, again, not an infomercial, but they know their stuff. So I was like, I can, if all Shakeology is like this, if all Beachbody, now I will honestly say not all Beachbody's products taste that good because I'm not going to say which one because I don't want it to come back on me, but I had one and I was just, and I could not get the taste out of my mouth for like an hour. It just like every time I closed my mouth, I could, it was like my brain was reminding me, like, don't ever put this in the mouth again.
That is so fun. Actually, I couldn't like relate to that. So on my fitness journey, I was very adamant that you don't need products. Like I didn't have anything against products or anything like that, but I did lose like all the weight with nothing, no pre-workout, nothing. And then I discovered Vega. Like and like it tastes so good, but I felt like such a sellout because I was like, you don't need products. And then I found this, and like the vanilla tastes like ice cream or something, and I was like, now I'm addicted to it. It's so good. But that definitely helped cravings too, like finding really good tasting protein powders. Like it does the job.
Yeah, I constantly have wondered like what would life be like if I had never had a sugary treat. Like, and I know parents now that don't give their kids candy, or it's like a very like their birthday, they get a like birthday cake, but it's like sugar-free frosting and all that fun stuff, which I don't know what is in sugar-free frosting because that's what I hate about frosting is it's pure sugar.
Mm-hmm.
uh like my family knows and like those closest to me know I don't have birthday cake because especially I don't like just the cake part, and then they're like but the frosting, I was like that's the part I hate the most is the frosting. Like it's nothing but pure sugar. There's no nutritional value to it, and it just like anything that's too sugary I hate. Like I can't even stand the taste. But had I never had any candy or like sour things are what get to me. So like warheads, I love warheads and like different things like that. Instant, and I get the cravings for it real bad sometimes, like almost like a drug. I'm just dreaming about those sweet treats.
That's so interesting. I actually got like a bunch of books from the library, and I'm literally reading up on like sugar addictions and everything, and it's so real. I mean, you hear a lot of people say like, "Oh, I can't stop having all this junk food," and you think it's just lack of willpower. But I'm starting to like really do research, and it's crazy the effects that half our food have on us. Like it's unbelievable. So a lot of people say like, well, people just need to stop eating, and it's like the way they make French fries. Okay, just French fries and the salt, like the stuff that does to your brain, it's insane, and it's so cool to read about all this, but then it's scary at the same time because it's like the effects food have on us. It's crazy.
Yeah, I read this book not too long ago. It's probably in the bookshelf behind me called The Power of Habit. and it talks about just how our brains function off of like habit, and junk food was one where like you have this brain cue of like, I'm low on energy and I just want something that's salty and fatty and like gets you going because your brain is made up of fat. And so that's the cue, and then like you have it, and then the reward is like you feel fulfilled, but then the negative side of it is like then you're sluggish, and then you have no energy, so then you want energy, so you have it again, and like just that vicious cycle that comes from it is just like, and I try to do that with like whenever I have the cravings for candy or something. I'm like, well, what am I craving? Am I craving the sweet treat that tastes, because then I can go have something that's healthy and tastes good? Or am I craving the energy, which is like eat an apple that has like good natural energy in it, and just trying to rewire your brain. But sometimes you do want that quick fix of like, give me that candy. That's great.
That actually reminded me of this quote. It said that we are overfed but starving to death. So it's like the nutrient content. So we're eating like all this abundance of food with no nutritional value.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overfed but starving to death. I found that quote like so interesting. I don't know. That just really, it's so true. I love it.
Yeah, I there was somebody was talking once about homeless people, and they're like, well, they can't really be homeless because they're all overweight. And I was like, because you can't afford a good meal on the dollar menu at McDonald's. Like, bro, it's like, and you get those like food deserts in America where like the only food around is like Popeye's chicken, which is not bad. Like, let's say McDonald's or Burger King, like there's no whole foods, there's no great nutritional value you can find at these small places. And so you have people who have very little money and are still overweight because that's the only food that they can afford. And so yeah, that's very interesting that you want to go into a nutrition aspect of it, because I feel like a lot of people could use better nutritional information.
I find that very interesting because when I gained all the weight that I did, I was insanely poor. I was living off of Mr. Noodles, Kraft Dinner, um, rice. Like I was on the poor man's diet. Okay, and that's where I think was probably the main reason I gained so much weight, because I was eating all this. Mr. Noodles like 25 cents, and I would have like five of them to feel full. So I think actually the poorer you are, the more likely you are to be overweight. Like
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah, and it's sad, and it's almost nowadays it's almost you have to pay to be healthy, not so much like you can work out, and Beachbody is like, I don't know, $2 or $3 a week or something, so it's pretty easy. You still have to do it. You still have to do the work. You can't take a magic pill, but it's the also paying for the nutritional stuff that you have to put into your body to fuel those workouts and to make those changes.
What I love about that and the nutrition aspect is um like now I have a different view about it. People say it is expensive, but at the end of the day, I look at it as like that should be the number one priority that you spend your money on, because what you eat literally becomes you. It becomes our cells. It becomes like who we are. So why not invest the money in that? And I used to have no problem throwing out $10 a day for cigarettes, or like buying a bunch of alcohol. We have no
Mm-hmm.
problem with that stuff. But for some reason, when it comes to like healthy food, we get hesitant on paying that extra money, but then buy a $6 drink at like Starbucks. So I don't understand like why we have this notion that like our health isn't worth the money. I don't know if it's because I am now so obsessed with nutrition, but I think we need to look at it another way and be like, we are worth it. We're worth that money, and we should be eating healthy because again, it becomes us.
Yeah, and to bring it back around to what you were saying, like that self-respect, like you have to
Exactly.
have your self-respect to like get up off the sofa. You also have that self-respect of like, I don't need a $6 latte. What I need is like some broccoli and some chicken or tofu, whatever your dietary restrictions are. You have to kind of invest in like look at what you're putting into your body, because a lot of time. Like I used to undereat and I thought I was eating too much. And so I was working out, and like the first time I did Insanity or got all the way through max 30, I was like, I took pictures and I was like, I like I see the results that I wanted, but also at the same time I have no muscle. And so I started doing Body Beast, and I was like, why am I not seeing any growth? And then I talked to nutritionists, and they're like, well, how much do you eat? And I'm like, well, I have this for breakfast usually, and then like a snack for lunch, and then dinner. And they're like, oh, cool, you're not eating enough. Like you need to be eating a lot more. And I was just like, and unfortunately, my relationship at the time, I was eating for the other person rather than eating what I needed to eat. And so, like, now I'm constantly eating, but I'm also seeing like all the results that I've wanted to for so long.
I think you made a good point there. I think another thing that comes down to nutrition is like, or even just fitness in general, is self-love. And it so it sounds stupid, but
No, it
when
doesn't.
I look back at when I was like so big, I didn't even like myself, let alone love myself. And so I think when I think about it, like when I was big and I was like, maybe I should eat healthy and stuff, you feel so bad about yourself. You don't think you even deserve it. I know it sounds weird, but you feel like you don't deserve to be healthy and all this stuff. That's again with like your mindset at the beginning that I had. But I think eating healthy and taking care of yourself really shows, like, again, it goes back to the attractiveness too, is how you feel about yourself when you're fit and healthy. Like that radiates out, and you can
Mm.
see that in someone, as opposed to if you do keep making those bad choices, you're showing that. I don't know where I'm going with this, but does it make sense at all? I
No,
don't
it,
know.
it totally does. Like, yeah, when I was feeling very low on myself, I I turned my workouts, instead of like something that I was happy to do and that was like a joy for me to do, I turned it into punishment and torture. And I was like, you're not a good enough person, so you're going to like grind yourself down. You're going to do these extremely hard workouts. You're not going to reward yourself with the nutrition that you need to reap the benefits of it. And like, it's comes back to what I was saying about that, you know, torturing myself and getting down on myself versus being very happy with myself and encouraging myself for the workouts. As soon as I started encouraging myself, then I was rewarding myself with like, okay, now we're going to eat good protein. We're going to put good things into me. And, I'm bouncing all over the place here, but
Okay.
it's the, you know, you're rewarding yourself with good food versus like trying to refuel your body from doing a hard workout with like junk food. It's just not going to happen. Like, you can't go and do a really hard insanity workout and then have like a Whopper and expect to have like good clean cut shoulders and like the abs and feel good. Like, now that I'm eating better, I also feel better about myself. Like, people used to ask, how you doing? And I'd be like, fine. And like, now it's like, now I take that as an invitation. I open up, and some of my friends have stopped asking me, how are you doing? Because like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm thriving. I feel good about myself. Like, I feel like I saw this thing yesterday and made me happy, and blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, whoa, let's calm it down.
You're that friend.
I'm that friend. Like, now it's almost like one friend I even asked, I was like, you want a short answer or a long answer? And like, we're close enough that he can be honest, and like, he'll be like, I got time for a short answer. I'm like, I'm doing really good, man. How about you? He's like, what was the long answer? Like, you don't want to know because you be here for another like 5 minutes as I'm like explaining my life to you. But yeah, like, what you put into your body, what you expect to come out of it is like, you can't eat a negative and expect to like constantly exude positives.
Well, actually, you said something that like really interests me there. If you want to elaborate on it, you said that you were eating for someone else. What does that mean exactly?
Um, Without going too much into it, because, well, I'm not happy with this person right now. It's not my story to tell, but I would essentially, in order to encourage her to eat more and eat healthier, I would hold off like eating dinner until I was with them. So I would cook a nice, healthy dinner, and I knew if it was just left to her own devices, she wouldn't eat it, or she would like scrape it off in the garbage can, something like that. I won't get too much further into that, but just like eating food was more of a communal thing because it had to be for health reasons, versus eating whenever I needed to eat, which would have been healthier for me. And there's a lot of codependency in there where like I was essentially in the caregiver role of like it's my responsibility to help this person eat. And so yeah, that's
I feel like
go
I feel
ahead.
like a lot of us have that issue. I feel like that a lot of us do sacrifice our own health as well for the people around us. I found that really interesting that you said that because um, I think that that's how I started too. You don't want to make people feel. You ever go to a cookout and then everyone's eating everything and then they're making you feel bad because you don't want it. You know, stuff like that. So I found that very interesting that you said that because I think it comes back again on the self respect and like the self love and stuff where you're actually putting someone before yourself, which
Mhm.
which isn't good. So I don't know. I just found it really interesting that you said that, and I really wanted to touch on that.
No, it's and I'd share more. Like I said in previous podcasts, I'm an open book, but I don't want to give away other people's secrets or share things that other people haven't given me permission to share. Um, and so yeah, it's now that I'm single and can I buy the groceries for myself and eat for myself. It's more like I'm hungry and I should eat, so I get up and I go eat. Or like unfortunately now I'm bulking, so I'm in the stage where like I'm never really hungry because I'm you're constantly fueling your body, so your body's like, oh, we have calories and nutrients to spare, let's make some more muscle. And so I it's weird to say that I kind of miss being hungry sometimes. This last week I went through a cleansing out phase, and kind of a reset, and so I was hungry and I was like, oh, that's that feeling like you almost kind of it's kind of like when you're really happy for a long time and then something sad happens and you're like, oh, this hurts even more because I haven't felt it in so long. uh so yeah, it's that interesting phase of like now I'm completely not completely about myself because that sounds incredibly selfish, but I am more in tune with my own needs, and therefore I'm very much like, yeah, I should eat and I should do this thing and I should do this other thing.
Honestly, I don't think that sounds selfish at all. I think society has told us that being all about yourself isn't a good thing, and I feel like it's a great thing. I feel like if the airplane's going down, you need to put on your mask before you help someone with theirs. So,
That's a good way of thinking about it. I've never thought of that example before.
yep. I don't know. You can't help others if you can't help yourself, and I feel like yeah, you always should put yourself first, like so you can help others. So I don't
Yeah.
think that's selfish at all.
Along that same vein, here's another good question. Do you find yourself inspired by those that you inspire?
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Okay, I don't want to sound bad. Like momentarily, like if I don't feel like working out one day, and then the people I inspire, I see their workouts and stuff like that. That does it to me. But I honestly, I find it very rare that I'm inspired. I know it sounds weird. I think more of it's just habit for me now, and I feel like maybe I just inspire myself. I don't know, but I always found that I'm like the teacher and barely the student, if that makes sense.
That's
So
no,
for
that's
me,
fair.
yeah. So for me, like, and it kind of sucks though because the teacher wants to be taught sometimes. But no, they do. People do inspire me all the time. They help me remind me where I started, and I get so excited for them too because it's like, man, I was you, and you just wait like a couple more months, you're gonna be doing those crazy jumps and like it. So it excites me to see myself and other people, if you will.
Yeah. I I constantly like I can firmly remember at least one example of the question where I just asked you, where like there's this really close friend of mine, and she's been inspired by me to get into fitness because she saw how I was before my fitness journey and leading up to, and then like at the precipice where I was really getting into it. And there was one day where I was just like, it had to be, it was definitely month two of insanity, max 30, where I always hate month two because that month one you get towards the end and you're like, yes, I am the king or queen. And you're like, I
And then
rule
you
at
get
this
to
workout.
recovery week. You get to recovery week, and you're like, "This is awesome. This is I can do this." Right?
Yeah. And then that first day of month two is always like so incredibly humbling because you're just like, I am, I'm like a fitness god. And then like all of a sudden it's like, you remember all those hard workouts that you just barely started to rock at? Those were easy sauce. You're gonna dream of doing those workouts after doing this workout. um so it had to be like week one or two of month two of max 30, and I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to skip this. I'm just going to stick in month one. Like, I'm just going to do month one. And then my friend sent me her progress pic of like, she was just going to the gym and like kind of, I don't want to say stumbling her way through, but she was doing, you know, whatever exercise she kind of like could remember to do, or maybe Pinterest, or I know she was working out with her boyfriend a few times. And she sent me her progress pics, and I was like, oh my god, like you look phenomenal, you like look confident and happy. And I was like, I have to keep doing these workouts so I inspire you to keep doing these workouts. And so it was kind of this like inspiration circle of like, she inspired me so I could keep inspiring her kind of thing.
No, that's true. I feel that as well. 'Cause it's so weird when people say that. Like people say they'll watch my workouts and stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, you keep inspiring me every day," and I'm just like, "How? Like I'm dying during my workouts, man. I don't know what you're talking about." Like I don't know. It's so weird to hear people say that about me, and sometimes I'll have people talk to me like I'm somewhat of like a celebrity. I'm like, "What? I'm just working out in my living room. I don't, I don't." It's so weird. But yeah, like I love when I'm doing a program and other people are doing the exact same program. We're all just struggling together, and that's very inspiring as well because you're like you die during one, and then you go talk to your friend, and you're like, "Did you die too?" And they're like, "Yes." You're like, "Okay, cool. I thought I was fit. I am still okay."
Thank God I'm normal.
Right? Like I'm sore. I can't move. Are you sore? Yeah. Good. That's right.
I find people like you and other people in my fit fam more inspiring than like say um almost people that do it professionally. Like I will say one of the people in my fit fam, my Beachbody coach, was on Sean's week. He's one of the people in the back. Well, I guess they kind of float around, but he's not Sean. Um, and he's inspiring, but he's like inspiring goals kind of thing. Like I want to get to his level, or I want to be at a place where I can work out side by side next to him. But I find the truly inspiring people are the average people, like, and that's what Beachbody is all about, is like anybody can get to this level if you just keep focusing. um and so like when I see your workout videos and when I do see you struggling, it's inspiring to me because it's like, she's struggling, this isn't an easy workout for her, but she's still doing it. Like obviously you're posting it after you've completed the workout, and it's never with the caveat of like, this is where I quit.
Hmm.
So to me, especially because you're a few hours ahead of me, when I get on Instagram, usually you've already finished your workout, and I'm like, see, I gotta work out too, because there's these other people out there that are still struggling with this, but they're still doing it. And it inspires me. My problem is a lot of times I don't struggle with the workout, so I don't feel like I had a good workout until the next day when I'm like I was just telling my roommate the other day, I worked out, I did chest, and I was like, I should have gone heavier or done like something more. Maybe I wasn't doing like getting full range of motion or something, because I don't feel like I got to work out until the next day when you're sore and you're like, yeah, I got a good workout. Ow, ow.
Okay, I can't wait for you to do lift 4 because you're gonna feel it every time. Every
I
time you feel it. I had T-Rex arms. I was like this for the first week. Like no joke. I was like, oh my god, this is horrible.
I just this morning when I was walking out to the kitchen, I call them bro arms. They're not T-Rex arms, but they're like
Arms.
they don't even sit all the way straight at your sides. They kind of like your shoulders, your back's all tight, and like your biceps and triceps are tight. So yeah, you do have a little bit of T-Rex arm, but feel like it's bro arms where I'm like walking around like sup, bro, sup. Uh, it's these small things that like most people like, especially couch potato, and I can say that because my family really needs to get into fitness. My dad's had some recent health problems where I was like, I mean, diet and exercise, I've been saying it for years, like this would have prevented that. But he like people don't understand bro arms. Like I'm extremely happy that yesterday was leg day and today I stood up out of bed and didn't scream in horrible pain. Now I've yet to walk down the stairs, but
See, I think that's what actually discourages a lot of people. My family, like when I had T-Rex arms, they're like, "Look, you've been working out for 2 years and you still get like this." And it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, there's a difference between wanting to be like beast, like I want to be, and just fit and healthy. Um, like I just want, like I want to build muscle and stuff. So like, I think people look at like different goals. Like, oh, if I work out, look, 2 years later, I'm still gonna be sore. No, you just want to be fit and healthy. Just do normal workouts, you know.
yeah.
But when you get into fitness, like I feel like you get to that point where at first it's about health and it's about losing weight, and then it's like I want to become beast. I want to just be like full of muscle. I feel like you just can't help but get to that point.
Yeah. I it's my fitness goals, what started me on my fitness journey was I wanted to look like Steve Amell from Arrow. Like season one, he's got that poster where he's just standing there, like he's got the tattoos and the scars and like the epic shoulders and like pecs and the abs all look perfect. And I was like, yeah, I want to look like that. And then like, and sure enough, I started Insanity and I quit and I started, and that had always been my goal. And then one day I was like, you know what? That shouldn't be my goal. Like I should want to look the best I should look. And
Mhm.
also he has a nutritionist, he has a personal trainer, and he gets paid to look that way. And I don't, not yet, but it's just kind of like you set this really high goal and then you're constantly upset at yourself for not reaching it or not being there. And like striving for a goal is good, but also like the other day, this might be a little too transparent, but I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I'm hot. Like I look damn good and I should be on an episode of Arrow how I am right now. And like that little voice inside my head is just like, no, you shouldn't. You can't. You don't have abs. Everybody in that show had janitors sweeping the floor. I'm sure have like six packs, but I'll be like the one guy that like looks like he's like working out, and everybody else is like, we all used to be there, but now we're on Arrow. Uh,
That's true though. Like when I started working out though, it's funny because like I said, I didn't even my goal was to just be skinny. Like that's it. Because I think women, it's always like you have to be skinny and just whatever, right? And I always had people tell me like, don't get big arms, don't look like a man. But and I'm like, I'm gonna look the way I want to look now. You're only saying that I shouldn't get big arms because they're gonna be bigger than yours soon, okay?
don't be hating on my big arms.
Exactly.
Uh, so to kind of bring this wonderful time to a close, just for fun, what's your most hated workout and what's your favorite workout?
Like workout program or like exercise?
Exercise, like do
Power
you
jumps
doing power jumps?
are the worst thing I have ever done in my life. Even no matter how fit I got, it was still always so challenging and I hated every moment of it. Every moment, hated it. My favorite is from 80 Day Obsession. You use sliders. I love sliders, and we would do like curtsy lunges, and those were my
Oh, okay, yeah.
I loved those. That was my favorite one. I don't know what it was, but like, because it's time under tension. And then I don't know, it just felt really cool with the sliders. Like it didn't even feel like you were working out. It just felt like you were just gliding along.
Now, just to get into the hated one, because I also extremely hate power jumps. Uh, I hate the ones where he has you go. I can do the fast power jumps, but when he's like, you go when I go, so he yells go in Insanity Max 30, like when he does it, you have to wait and like hold it for a minute. Do you also hate the power jump push up combo?
I don't know. No, honestly, what you just said, like the fast paced ones, those are what I hate more than anything.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you get to the last minute. I'm thinking max 30. You get to like the last minute in one of them. I think it's Tabata strength or Tabata power, and he's like, all right, 60 seconds full power jumps, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, the modifier is just doing the one knees, and I usually like I can do like 10 solid seconds of power jumps, and I'm like modify time. Like that's it.
It's so true. But you know what I do love about it is when I do them and I film it and then you like slow mo it, it looks really it looks so much better than it is when you actually see how like high you're getting and stuff. So if, like definitely recording it and slow moing it motivates me to be like, okay, do it better next time. Because you're actually getting some air too, you know? It's awesome.
There is a benefit to recording yourself or like doing it. I did it in front of a mirror once, uh, just to check my form, and I realized with the power jumps, my torso was staying pretty much stationary and my legs were just flopping up and down.
Yeah.
I realized I wasn't jumping and I was like, oh, that's why I don't have a problem with it. And I started jumping the next time I did it and I was like, screw this workout. Never again.
See, like when you do like the power jump and then like you do, I think you said push-ups. Oh, I
Mm.
think what one's that from? Yeah, you do a power jump and a push-up. I honestly love that because it's like a 2 second break, right? You go down and you're like, think, and then you back up and you're like, no, and then you do it and you're like, oh, I love these push-ups.
See, I could do it when he was, again, when he was like, go. And then you would do one and go like down, push up. At first I didn't like it because my arms have always been my weaker attribute. And so I couldn't push my whole body up. And I also had a lot more weight then, which is the point of plyometrics. But then I would do the jump. And then when he had like go at your own speed, go as fast as you could, that was it. I was out. Like I couldn't get down. I would get down and almost hit my face against the ground and then like push, be like, So then you like start making it easier on yourself and you like go down, but then you like stretch out a bit. So you're pushing less weight off your arms. And I was just like, I'm screwing this up. I'm sacrificing my form. And like now I can do it because I've done it enough times. Like, but that first initial time you do it, it's just all bad.
Does that mean you struggle with like what are they like you like a power jack? You know what I mean? Like you go down in the push-up and then like your legs go out too.
Yes, I sucked at the power jacks. I sucked at the plyo push-ups. The it's Tuesday, and yeah, you literally push your whole body up, and like it's supposed to be just a few inches, but you're pushing off the ground, and then you're doing that um, with your knees down at the end, where you just like stop up,
Know
and like
exactly when you're talking about. Oh my god,
my
that's from
shoulders were burning after that, and like I just it it's insanity is this is a infomercial for insanity essentially is what it turned into. Insanity is really good for like people who think they're in good shape and they're like, yeah, I can do push-ups, and like, cool, can you do push-ups after doing 5 minutes of cardio, 5 minutes of legs, and then like push-ups that you've never seen done before? And in month two, it's like the scissor push up where like you have one leg under. So you're like working your obliques and like more weight is on one side of your body.
Which one would you pick? Insanity or Max 30? Like, which one's your favorite?
Max 30, definitely hands down for a few reasons. I like the workouts better. I can go full out for 30 minutes a lot easier than I can do like partially full out like for an hour. And also, and like people think DVDs are DVD workouts are like, whenever I say a DVD workout, the instant image a lot of people get is like the spandex like 80s like, come on everybody, like jazzercise. And I'm like, no, if you get a good workout routine, which a lot of most of Beachbody is the modern day workout stuff. They have some older things, but Shanti's a lot more inspiring in Max 30 than he is in Insanity. Insanity, he's not inspiring, but he's more in your face, like, come on, let's go, 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 go. And 30, it's like, come on, I know you can do this. I know, like, we're all here sweating, and we know you're sweating. Like, just keep pushing yourself. Find and those little things in the like the warning. It used to be quiet, and in Max 30 it has him like speaking like to his people, his fitness people, but like he's also speaking to you and be like, you can dig deeper, you can go harder. Like when you reach your max out, try and go 1 second longer.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, like in Insanity, yeah, you just do it, and then every time you kind of stop, you feel a little discouraged. But yeah, in Max 30, where it's like, yeah, you just go 1 second longer means everything. Also, I feel like Max 30 is very realistic. Like there's a modifier, and it was the second workout I did. I did T25, and then I went right to Max 30, and I just feel like it's more doable. Like you said, you tried Insanity a couple times and then quit after a week or so. I did the same thing. With Max 30, it's like 30 minutes modifier.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot more nice. He's a lot more nice than that one. So yeah, I would go with Max 30 too.
Yeah, Max 30 is nicer. If you ever read his book or some of his podcasts, he talks about some life stuff that was happening when he was doing Insanity versus when he was doing Max 30. Um, and this is a little vain, and especially because I think he just posted on his Instagram yesterday or the day before about like somebody said, like one person said he looked thin and the other person said he looked really buff, and he's like, it's not about how you look. He, I'll say he looks happier in Max 30. Like if you watch Shanti, and obviously like the life circumstances, but also his like, I've been down to 8% body fat before, and I was a grouch. I was so upset. I was like, nobody could say something that made me happy. And I was just like, screw this. And like, I would watch like a movie that I love and pick it apart. And nobody was asking me to. I would just like be like, oh, see in this scene, he's a stupid little expression and the extra's face in the background. And like, I was looking at the negatives in life, and I do think a lot of that contributed from my body fat. It's just like your body's in this constant state of like, ah, versus like now I'm at, I'll be honest, like 21 or 22 last time I did the test at my gym. And like, yes, that's, some people would consider that like too much body fat, but I'm happy like all the time. Like when I get sad, it's like it's it passes over me. Like I feel it, and I'll be like, I'm sad, and this horrible thing happened, and then like I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, I'm happy now. I don't care.
Honestly, that's exactly what I talked about earlier about this like realization I had last week was the same thing. Like I felt like I was, I'm in a 500, 600 deficit, and I have been forever. Like I feel like I'm constantly just eating in a deficit, and I mean, at what point where you're like, I just want to be happy? Like I'm just constantly starving. I'm not. I'm such a fruit fanatic. Like I love fruit, and everyone's like, "We can't eat so much fruit if you want to lose weight." And then last week I was like, you know what? Then I don't want to lose any weight anymore. I want to eat like 5 bananas a day. Okay, I just want my bananas. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I just and and that comes back to a little bit like we're constantly circling back around, but that, what's the point of fitness? What's the point of like looking good and like having abs if you hate your life? Like you still need to enjoy life. It's just about being healthier, or maybe it's about like looking better, but like it's people who do the like weird diets where they're like, yeah, I'm doing this weird diet where all I can eat is kale. Like, well, I don't care how I look. That sounds horrible. Like, and I like kale too, but like if that's all you could eat, like, and my friend does a diet where all he eats is meat. He looks phenomenal, but he does like steaks and chicken. He doesn't do veggies, though he Instagrammed a meal and it had avocado. And I was like, that's a vegetable. And he was like, okay, avocado once a week. And I get the science behind it, but I'm just like, I feel like that would just make me grouchy all the time.
Agreed.
I was like, it is
You
a
don't
podcast. You do have to.
like
uh, but yeah, so that's your least favorite. It has been a pleasure talking to you. Where can people find you out in the social world?
I am on Instagram and YouTube as Fitness Freak Beauty, all one word. And yep, that's where my social media is.
Awesome, cool. So Fitness Freak Beauty, if you want to follow Suzzy. Once again, just a huge thank you. This has been awesome. We went a lot longer than I thought we were, which I really I like it because I've talked to people before where I think we're gonna have a long conversation and it ends up being a lot shorter, but that's what naturally progressed. Um, as always, I want to give a big thank you to our tech wizard, Manuel Silva, for setting this up, without whom there would not be a Smashby podcast. A shout out to Arlie Shea for designing our logo. And last but not least, our listeners, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like the show. If you didn't, you can keep your big mouth shut and not tell anybody about it. Alrighty, guys. Thank you. And this has been the Smashby Podcast.